Welcome back to another episode of Sibling Showdown, the best ball edition, the live draft edition. We're going through all the different sites. We've done underdog drafts, we've done DraftKings drafts, we've done drafters drafts, and we're back to the drafters format, which, as you may remember, is a cumulative scoring weeks 1 through 17. And we're already in. We made sure we got in a draft, and so we are in. I have the first pick of the draft, and the draft is starting in approximately 52 seconds. So I have 50 seconds to say hi to my co-host, my brother, Steve. Steve, how are you doing today? And you ready to do a drafters draft?
I'm doing well. Yeah, and I'm excited to get back to drafters. I've been doing more of theirs lately. I think we're going to see some definite overlay on the site, which is obviously nice for us as users. And I do like the format. It protects you from the 1 or 2 week injuries or needing the spike weeks at the right time. Like spike week's a spike week.
Right. I think that with drafters, you want to just really look for those guys like the Josh Jacobs last year, to really look for the guys that are just going to massively outperform their ADP, whether it's guys higher up and they're still going to outperform their ADP, or guys lower down the board. You're looking for those guys that are going to outperform their ADP. And I think that's the key to it. So we're up, and do you want to just stick with Justin Jefferson, Old Faithful here?
Yeah.
Okay. This will give us some time to talk through now, because we'll have a big break coming around, and then we'll pick at the 2-3 turn. So this will give you a break to say, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you're just coming in, be sure to like this episode, subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. We do live drafts, live best ball drafts every single week. And we're going to be doing some more strategy shows as the, best ball season heats up here, just like I guess 5-6 weeks. How many more weeks do we have left of drafting? 6 weeks. I need to make a calendar for myself here. And again, you could follow me at Megs08DFS. You can follow Steve at SteveOSpeak. And then also on drafters, this would be a good time to mention, whether you're on underdog or drafters, be sure to use code FanSpeak. That gives you 100% deposit bonus up to $100. So if you're new to drafters, want to check it out, use the code FanSpeak, get 100% deposit bonus. You can put in $100 and have $200 worth of drafts. This is the flagship tournament that Steve mentioned should have overlay. Is a $20 buy-in, but it should have massive overlay. They also have a good kind of incentive going on right now if you do cumulative drafts, Steve, cumulative fast drafts. So every day do a fast draft in a row. I think there's a ticket if you do 3 in a row. If you do 10 in a row, I think there's still time to get 10 in. You get one free entry into the big tournament. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, be sure to check out our articles on fanspeak.com. Steve just wrote a great article about overvalued receivers. He also covered undervalued receivers. I just talked about best ball fades. We talk about all sorts of different strategies or kind of got players we're higher or lower on. So be sure to check out our articles on fanspeak.com. So with that, Steve, let's talk about our drafters strategy. Obviously, we got the top receiver having the 1 spot. And, we could certainly look to stack up, obviously, later on in the draft, the Vikings. But what do you like to do at the 2-3 turn here on drafters?
Well, I think drafters, this format does reward star quarterback play better. And I think it also rewards guys who have full-time roles. So, it's tougher to be like a 0 RB type build. You really have to hit guys who are playing full-time, like the Jerick McKinnons and stuff like that. Sure, they would score a couple times in your lineup, but you can't rely on those types of guys near as much, just because, excuse me, we're really shooting for upside here, because it's not just getting out of your 12-man bracket, in through the playoffs and then getting into divisional round and semifinals or quarterfinals and semifinals of playoffs, and whether you're with 8 people or 20 people and those types of things, it's still much easier. I mean, every week is just as important. So you want to be shooting for as many high scores as possible.
Right. Absolutely. It does lean into the receiver, though, being full point PPR. So it does lean into that. But I think a combination, you want to do different strat, diversify, whether you're doing hero running back or double hero running back or 0 running back. You want to diversify your strategies and have different builds. I kind of like doing a hero build where I get 1 in the top 3. and then kind of then build out some receiver. But like you said, it also, weights the quarterback as well. So what do you want to do here at the 2-3 turn? We have all the quarterback. We have, I believe, all the quarterbacks on the board with Mahomes, Hurts, Allen. And then a lot of my favorite running backs have gone. We are on the clock, but let me just finish my thought. Pollard and Chubb went around the turn, of course. Barkley, which I know there's a lot of news there we could get to later, is and Henry and Stevenson. So I have a lot queued, but do you want to go a quarterback here? What
I'd take Allen.
You want to do Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you rank Josh Allen the highest on the?
Well, let's take our next
pick.
player.
I really like Ridley. I think he's going to massively up.
Yeah, go Ridley.
What's your thoughts on that? Okay.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
I was leaning Breece Hall because I really love Breece Hall. I know sometimes you worry about a guy coming back from injury in this format because, week 1 through 17, weeks 1, 5, 10 mean as much as week 17 here. And the cumulative scoring, you want the guys playing all season long. But, I'm hoping Breece Hall doesn't miss much time, does start the season, relatively fast. So I don't know what your take on Hall was there, but he was the other one I was interested in.
Yeah, no, just to start with Allen, my thought process there, we could have done, Hurts and Devontae Smith, but I do like Ridley above Devonta. So, and I just think Allen has as much upside as anyone. He, over the last 3 years, he's top fantasy scoring quarterback. He's been the most consistent. So, he's just got massive upside, and he's actually easy to backstack. Compared to, if we didn't go Devonta Smith there, you have to take Goddard. Like there's not a lot of easy ways to stack up Hurts beyond that. And Mahomes, with Kelsey being gone, it's absolute dart throws. If you get there, you could get a guy who's good, or you could reach for a guy and he barely plays. So
to your point, the guy who got Kelsey was able to stack with Mahomes.
No, and that's great value there. But Allen, like Gabe Davis is easily gettable. Dalton Kincaid is going to be easily gettable. Running backs are fairly gettable. So I just think that there's just an easier way to backstack him, and he also is a guy, like if we end up with a weaker stack, like Dawson Knox or something like that, like it's not the end of the world because Allen gets so many points on his own, and he does spread it out enough. So I just think that he's a good combo of that kind of strategy.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were finishing up. He's a good combo of what strategy?
Of just that kind of strategy of not forcing stacks, like you maybe would with like Mahomes,
right?
And reaching for guys, and it just gives us a lot of optionality.
But still giving the option to correlate and backstack with him and stacking up his team.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you end up with weaker stacks, like James Cook and Dawson Knox, it's not the end of the world because he gets so many points on his own.
Right. Okay, so as it comes around on the 3-4 turn, you can see the board. Our team obviously has started quarterback, receiver. I have queued up a lot of the running backs I went, but I had queued up some running backs I had liked. Breece Hall, Najee Harris just went. Kenneth Walker's still on the board. Wouldn't mind grabbing a receiver. Receivers still on the board. Hopkins, obviously now with Tennessee. Watson, Drake London, Mike Williams. I'm a big fan of taking a lot of Mike Williams. But who else do you want to queue in this area, knowing that we'll be at 48 and 49?
Deontay Johnson.
Okay. I don't love the guys right after that. So I'm hoping we can get at least one of these. If we could get Kenneth Walker and one of these receivers, I'd be pretty pumped.
What other running backs are there?
Yeah. So here are the other running backs we got we're trying to get the scroll right here. Etienne, Mixon, Aaron Jones.
Joe Mixon is, I think, clear value right there.
Yep. So you have Mixon over Walker?
Yeah.
Okay. Just because better team or less competition or both?
Both. I think Mixon has enough of a passing role, enough of a goal line role, no matter what. He was just a little unlucky last year. People knock him too much for missing 3 games. I mean, that happens, but it's no guarantee it happens this year.
Right.
So yeah,
So
just that offense is like top 5 offense, easy.
okay, so DJ Moore was taken. Again, Christian Watson, good Godwin, those kind of guys. I mean, I like Lockett later down. Do you want to do like a mix in Deontay Johnson, or do you want to grab both running backs? What are your thoughts?
I think mixing Deontay Johnson.
You want to do mix in Deontay Johnson? Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously, again, PPR, full point PPR, Deontay Johnson really fits this type. Boy, his ADP it's been skyrocketing on an underdog and DraftKings, but I guess here even holds more value. So is very high here, higher than I thought, because he's going on underdog. He was in the 70s and the 60s. Now he's in the 50s there too, right?
Yeah.
So, I have the 2 Seattle guys. They're not going to be there coming around. Again, we have a long wait, so we'll be back up around 72, 73. That starts to hit then receivers that I like. Again, don't think they're necessarily, these guys would still be here, but you can obviously cue Gabe Davis correlated with Josh Allen, Jahan Dotson, Addison, whether we have, if we wanted to then grab Kirk Cousins, I love Brandon Cooks. I just queued up some receivers that I like. What are the receivers in the range that most likely would still be there? Do you like?
That's pretty much that.
That covered a lot of it. I know that covered a lot of the guys that you liked. Yeah. And then go ahead.
I like George Pickens, but we just got Deontay.
Right. Same. Yeah. That's the only reason I didn't queue him up. We just got Deontay, and I don't think we need to double stack. I mean, you certainly could and then grab Pickett, but I think we need to address some other positions too. So over at the running back position, I like Cam Akers. I like this whole range. Don't know if any are going to be available. I know you like Connor a lot. I'm kind of not as thrilled about him just because of the team he plays for, but I have been drafting some. But I really like the Cam Akers, Miles Sanders, Dameon Pierce. If one of those guys is there, I think taking a second running back would be smart.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, so Joe Mixon is a week 7 bye.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, both Sanders and Pierce is, but I'm not going to let that deter me. We can still backstack. Like, I'm not going to let that get me off a player I really like, basically. It would have been nice if Akers was there. He is not. So what are your thoughts here?
I would take Gabe Davis. I think, makes a lot of sense. And then right now it's just Connor that's left, right?
Yeah, they all got taken.
Yeah. So
we don't have to. Here's the thing so we have Gabe Davis would essentially be our number 4, like filling in this. You're assuming that the receiver position's filling out more often on a full point PPR. So I'm going to go ahead and draft Gabe Davis. What I will say is you could take another receiver if you wanted, and then because there are a lot of running backs I like in that next tier, and then you just hammer the hell out of the running back position, the Washington running backs, AJ Dillon and that kind of stuff. So would you want to do Addison or Cooks, or are you really want
Connor?
Okay.
I think it goes back to what I said before, is Connor is just going to be on the field, and these split backfields, it's harder because, again, we're you want the consistency here, and you need these guys scoring as many weeks as possible, where on a playoff site, yes, you need to make the playoffs, but you just don't have the same pressures, and Connor has a good combo of, he's going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield relative for the position. And, he's just not going to leave the field. And in terms of the offense being bad, they were really bad down the stretch last year. In fact, probably much worse than they're going to be this year after Kyler got hurt. They were starting Trace McSorley and others, not named Colt McCoy at quarterback. Marquise Brown was out. They had so many issues down the stretch. They were taking offensive linemen off the street. And yet this year they're assuredly going to be better. And Connor, like the last 6 weeks was one like RB8 or something like that,
Mm.
over the last 6 weeks of the season.
I mean, do you worry if they for some reason were so god awful that they shut down Kyler or anything like that, that they'd shut down him?
No, I mean, Connor is not like some long-term elite piece that they're gonna, you know, save for the future. It's not like a Brees Hall or somebody like that.
Right. Okay. So, well, just one position at a time. This is the stay of the tight end position. I mean, I definitely would like to queue up Kincaid, is kind of a favorite stack with Allen that I like, because I really think they're going to use him in the big slot role this year. So really interested in that. He's further down. So again, we're looking at picks around 96, 97. Excuse me. I have queued up the two Baltimore receivers. I have Bateman ahead of Odell. I don't know if you want to queue up any of this. It's getting into a range, and that's why I want to get 5 by this point, because then it gets dark in the receiver avalanche landscape that we are in. So, is there anyone else in this range? I just queued up Lazard as well that you are interested in, and then I can look at running back.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'd probably look right below Lazard. I think that's where you have situations like Tyler Boyd.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I just at 96, 97. I'm not gonna reach 14 spots for Tyler Boyd unless all these guys avalanched and we're gone. But we're 2 picks away. So Bateman just went. We are on the clock. Gibson just went. We can look at running back too. But of Lazard and Beckham and Jameson Williams, who do you like the best?
I would say Beckham, actually.
We could take 2, or we could take look at the running back. I mean, I do think Javonte Williams. I mean, it's another guy coming back from injury, but I think he's interesting. I think AJ Dillon's interesting. Or we could take a second, but we're 12 seconds. I would
probably go AJ Dillon. Just to mix up buys and things of that nature.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So again, we'll be coming back up. We are through round 9. So held to my 4 receivers by round 7 or 8. We got 4 by round 6 and 5 by round 9 or 10. Got 5 by round 8. Because then again, you fall into the avalanche. And speak to your point, yeah, Tyler Boyd and Nico Collins and guys like that are fine. It's just I'm not going to reach for them, and luckily we didn't have to, because even in the avalanche there still was Lazard and Beckham on the board, and I'm happy with and agreed with your Beckham call. How do you handle, let's talk through this super quick as we're waiting to come around the 9-10 turn here. How do you handle a guy like Jameson Williams? I know a lot of people just say, well, guys that are coming back from injury, guys that are rookies, guys that are suspended, guys that, those kind of guys you may not be as interested in here. Do you handle it like, I'm not going to fully X them out, but if they fall past their ADP and I find them to be a value, then take them? Is that how you handle guys like a Jameson Williams?
Well, for me, it's not just their ADP. I think they have to get to a value point, and where like Jameson Williams, it looks like his ADP is like 110. Like if we were at 115, I don't, or even at 120, I don't even think that necessarily makes them value. I mean, those 6 games are very, very valuable. I definitely love his upside. I love his potential, but those 6 games are just as important as any game. So, and I would worry to take them that high. I really think these guys coming off injuries, like Javonte Williams, same thing. Like they should be going maybe 2-3 rounds lower than they are in the other sites, just because they're just simply.
So, are you taking Brees Hall later too? I know I like Brees Hall a lot too.
I think not as bad, because he probably is ready week 1, but he just might be eased into it. So those first 4 or 5 weeks, he might have a tough chance of real spike weeks. Maybe can still give you some floor weeks. Kind of the same with the risk with these two franchise backs, Saquon and Jacobs, who might hold out. I don't think they're holding out the season, but if they hold out a couple weeks, it's obviously like a suspension. Same thing with Kamara. We'll find out what his suspension might end up being.
Right.
I think these guys should take a hit more on this type of site.
I just queued up a couple other running backs I like. So, I mean, yeah, I guess. Well, first of all, I just of note, no more by week 13 receivers, because we have 3 of our 5 are week 13. So, yeah. No more week 13 receivers. Cut that off there. And the nice thing, you have 20 picks on drafters, so you can get 8 or 9 receivers, so that's good. But so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for someone like Williams, who's so talented, it's like I just think he's offers so much more upside in total over a guy like where he's going around. Like, I mean, I do like Nico Collins, but Boyd, who just went, Myers, Rondell Moore, Zay Jones. I mean, James Williams just went, so it's a moot point. But I'd say if he was there at 120, I would have interest. But again, moot point. We're into the area of receivers I don't love. I know you like Juju. We have Brian Robinson at 115. That has fallen. I would say definitely him. Well, I'm low in time. So would you agree? Yeah. Okay. And then we could either reach for Kincaid or hope he's there at 144, or take Juju. What are your thoughts? 20 seconds.
Reach for Kincaid. Get the stack.
Yeah, I love Kincaid, and I'm higher on him than 145. I have him more like 125. So wasn't really reaching based off my personal rankings. Again, really think Kincaid's going to be used. Now we have time to talk as like that big slot type receiver in a high-powered offense. So at this point, we are through 11 rounds. We have 9 rounds to go. That went fast because, when you're at the turn there, you wait, then oh boy, I can't believe we're through 11 rounds already. So I am glad we did grab our first tight end in round 11, essentially. So anyways, we have 1 quarterback, 4 running backs, 5 receivers, and 1 tight end: Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, James Conner, AJ Dillon, Brian Robinson. I think that's very solid. Justin Jefferson, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis stacked with Allen, Odell Beckham like that, and Dalton Kincaid stacked with Allen. I think at this point we should potentially look for I think in a Josh Allen build on Underdog, I try to build out 3 stacks more often just because of weather during the playoff weeks and that kind of stuff. Running quarterbacks, I'm usually more willing to build 3 quarterbacks, but this is, on drafters season long, I'm more comfortable in a Josh Allen or elite QB build doing 2. If you want to do just 2, if we did just do 2, I would maybe grab a good second one, like a Stafford or something like that. Just trying to talk it through here, because if we did 3, maybe you don't rush for that. Because you can backstack Stafford and stuff. So, so thoughts on that, and then queue up other guys because it'll come quick. So,
what's available at receiver? Because I was just going to say, if we can get Van Jefferson and Stafford, you could just take both of these picks.
And I like that.
That could be a way.
I just made it so's by. Okay, there we go. I made it so's by alphabetical order. I like that. I'm into that. Is Higbee still there?
Yeah, so there'd be another option in case Van gets taken.
So who do you have? I mean, I kind of have Higbee. Or wouldn't you rather have, since we have, I don't know, I go back and forth on this, but wouldn't you rather have the tight end 1 than the much distant receiver 2? Like, I don't know. In targets, do you think it'll be Higbee or Jefferson, like really earning targets after Kupp? Because everybody's secondary to Kupp right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will probably end up Jefferson. Could be pretty close, but I also think Jefferson has the bigger spike week upside. I mean, he's a deep threat. He was used as a spike week player, 2 years ago when Stafford was healthy.
Okay, so you want to do Jefferson and Stafford?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I do too. And now I don't think we have to force a third quarterback, because I feel really, really good about our quarterbacks. So now we have 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 receivers, one tight end. Since we waited on tight end, I think we're definitely, waited initially to get Kincaid and then, didn't draft like a back-to-back tight end situation with Higbee. I think we're going to need 3 tight ends. So I think our build will end up being somewhere around like a 2-6, 8 or 9, 3, somewhere give or take. So we should look to queue up all of running back, receiver, and tight ends as we come around. So we're in round 13. So we'll be picking at round 14, 15, 168, and 169. So the good thing is we have, kind of some nice solid stacks built up in Allen and Stafford and the Rams and Bills. And, I definitely think the Rams could massively outperform their ADPs. And I think we have some exposure to some really other good teams like Cincinnati and Minnesota and Jacksonville, stuff like that. So, are there any other kind of like mini team stacks that you want to, are there any other, Rams or Bills that you want to get access to, or, and then just who else do you like? So I'll go through one by one. I mean, I'm obviously super bullish on Sam Laporta. He is in that ADP range because after that, then it gets, further down. I know you and I sometimes do a rookie tight end special where we get 2 or 3 rookie tight ends or 3 rookie tight ends. And, I don't necessarily hate that. I don't mind Irv Smith either. Yes or no?
No, I like him. I mean,
okay.
And I like him more in this format.
Yeah. And since we have Mixon, I kind of just like stacking up good teams. So I'm fine with either or both if you didn't like the receivers in this area. I'll just start queuing guys out. I like Hodgins and Jaden Reed. Any other receivers you like in this area? And then we can move on. I like Tim Patrick.
I think Curtis Samuel's fine in a PPR format.
Shakir would be further down, but he does correlate. I don't know. I mean, if you're betting on Dalton Kincaid, you're kind of betting against Shakir, right?
Yeah, not only that, like you said, we already have 3 week 13 receivers.
We gotta ditch the week 13 receiver situation. We definitely need to rectify that. Okay, it's coming around quick. We'll be up in a second here. Any running backs you want to queue up?
Mostert, but that's really it there.
Okay, so it looks like which Irv Smith was taken. So do you want to do like Laporta and a receiver here? I kind of think we need to beef up the receiver a little bit more, especially considering the bye week. So I got Laporta as a second tight end. I don't know. Do you really
I lean Jaden Reed, but yeah.
I mean, we do have AJ Dillon already too. I mean, I probably lean Tim Patrick because I'm just bullish on it. But you feel like Jaden Reed could be potentially the second option in that offense after Watson is in the slot role, correct?
Yeah, and in fact, he might end up with more targets, just like a Deontay Johnson. Like Deontay Johnson's going to have more targets than George Pickens. George Pickens might have more like yards because he's a deep threat guy, similar to Watson. Touchdowns if are less determinant on drafters. So, you could have a situation where Reed ends up leading the team in catches.
Mm-hmm. If we wanted to do our rookie tight end special, we could stack up Green Bay with Dillon, Reed, and Musgrave, who are 3 of the guys that I like stacking up because they're very good value for the Packers. But I know we're both very bullish on Musgrave, do the rookie tight end special. But I queued up Hayden Hurst and Luke Musgrave for later. Patrick's still queued up. Mostert's still queued up. Again, don't have to worry about quarterback. So in round 16, 17, we're looking at a picks 192, 193. What other receivers do you want me? I know Slayton, we're both bullish on. I know you, Robert Woods in that area. I don't think we want to go too much further down in this, at this turn.
I like Devontae Parker also. They just gave him an extension. They did not sign Hopkins. That was basically the big concern. And,
I don't like him. I don't know. I'm just so I could regret this decision, but I just do not love the Patriots offense. Yeah. I know they could be much improved without Matt Patricia. I get it. I tend to target like really late Patriots, like just like a late round flyer on Well, I like Ramondre Stevenson as long as Dalvin Cook doesn't go there. I have plenty of Ramondre Stevenson shares already. I'll say that. And then late, I like Hunter Henry. But anyways, let's talk about, we do have these guys queued up. That's, I think, plenty to start. I'm going to move these guys down since they're much later. I think we should look at the running back position because we only have 4 and it gets thin quick. So I queued up Elliott, Ty Chandler, Gus Edwards. I mean, you could queue up Pierre Strong. He's not my favorite in that range. Chase Brown. No, there's been some steam on CEH. You know, I know is Pacheco a little banged up right now coming into camp, and you know, if you're getting CEH like in round like 18 or something like that, it's, you know, I think you could make cases where Kansas City just kind of rotates through the hot hand and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't hate it as like a 6th running back or something, but I do think we need to address the running back for sure here at the minimum, at least 1, if not 2. So it's coming up. Chase Brown, Elliott just went. Let's see. Oh God, it does get thin quick. Do you like Ty Chandler?
I do.
Okay, so do you want to do another running back, or do you? I mean, Tim Patrick fell. I kind of like that value.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a different bye week, you know, because we had so many week 13 buys.
Yeah.
So
that was a tough thing with Slayton.
Yeah. Oh, didn't even think about that, but yeah, we had to avoid that. So anyways, now coming around at pick 216, 217, I think our guy Luke will probably be gone because people have wised up that he's probably going to be tight end 1, unfortunately. So we can get a look for a 3rd tight end. Again, I do think we should get a 6th running back here. So that's what I would target. And then with our last pick, we can just take a flyer receiver or just a really flyer running back, because at that point you're so late that it's pretty yucky. So anyways, I don't know who's going to be there at 216. That's a problem. Nobody I really like. Definitely probably waited a little too long there for getting a 6th running back. In this format with 20 picks, I don't mind getting 6 running backs unless you did like a double hero build or, you know, 3 running backs like in the top 8 or something like that. You know, we got Mixon in the 4th, Connor in the 7th, and Dylan in the 9th. And then Brian Robinson at 10th. So it's decent, but yeah, I would have liked to have a little more security there. Who are some of your, I mean, we could take turns going through it. Well, let me scroll through. It's coming around the 17, 18 turn now. Who are some of your like flyer running backs in this format? I don't know that I want to take 2 of them because I think you're just playing whack-a-mole at this point. Now that Pierre Strong's gone, it's like just really, really thin situations.
Yeah. I mean, Cordell Patterson could, catch a lot of balls. He could end up as like the team slot receiver. Who knows? I really like Malik Davis.
A gut feeling tells me that Elliott's going to sign back there, but maybe I'm just full of it. I like Keontae Ingram. I think he's going to be the 2nd running back and it handcuffs our situation.
I mean, that wouldn't be terrible.
I think he makes sense. I've been taking him as like a last, 19th round type guy in a lot of stuff.
I think Michael Carter, is better in PPR formats.
How do you think that Jets situation is going to stack out after Breece Hall? Because it just feels so crowded.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think Zonovan Knight's going to be a factor. I think it's the 3. I think it basically is Carter and
Abanka and
Abanka. Okay. But Carter is definitely the best of the pass catchers, and like Abanka has some upside, but he's also kind of raw. Just don't know if he's gonna, wow enough to earn the ability to be on the field, particularly in like picking up, passing routes and blitzes and those types of things. So,
any other tight ends you like here? Because again, tight ends will get to the point where it's, really thin if we don't grab one.
Fant, Henry, Woods, I think are all fine.
I like Isaiah Likely with contingent value. I know they have a crowded.
But we already have a week 13 tight end.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, absolutely not. Well, ideally, Musgrave will fall 3 more picks and we can grab Musgrave. But if not, then I'd say I like Hunter Henry probably the next best. Again, he's been my late round Patriots guy that I've kind of gone to the most. Jelani Woods, can't pronounce it, is just super athletic and talented. And, maybe he is like a good outlet for a rookie quarterback. I don't know. Yeah. So I've drafted him late too.
And the other thing with this format, I mean, there's definitely some talk that, we'll see, but Gardner could play a few games. And
yeah, I wouldn't be
again, in this format where every week matters the same, if maybe Woods gets you a spike week in the first couple of weeks, I think Colts receivers have a little bit more value in that kind of outcome. We still don't know, but I'm saying on those outcomes on playoff formats, you're still relying on your Colts players in the playoffs against low passing volume.
Right.
But we've seen Minshew really excel throwing the football. So
right. Yeah.
Big reason why people won last year with Eagles receivers. I mean, yes, it could have been Hurts, but they weren't, Gardner Minshew. They had AJ Brown and Devonta Smith had a big week 16 and 17. So
right. This guy's taking it right down to the wire. Luke? No, he took McBride, so we're going to take Musgrave. Yeah. I'm going to go Keontae Ingram here. I like handcuffing our just Cardinals back situation. And then if for some reason, I don't know, they turn to him or contingent value, I don't mind that. Now I'll let you pick the last receiver because we then got we went with the 2 quarterbacks of Josh Allen and Matt Stafford, both stacked up and correlated. We have 6 running backs in Mixon, Connor, A.J. Dillon, Brian Robinson, Ty Chandler, Keontae Ingram. And then right now we currently have 8 receivers: Justin Jefferson, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis, Odell Beckham, Van Jefferson, Jaden Reed, Tim Patrick, and then the 3 rookie tight end special that you and I both love: Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, and Luke Musgrave. So, I mean, honestly here, Steve, I think you could go, if you wanted, you could go a 4th tight end since they're all rookies. You could go a 9th receiver. You could go a 7th running back if you felt strongly about one of them. But I'll let you make the pick since I went Ingram there.
Yeah, honestly, I think could make a case for all 3.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You really could. Sorry, tell me what you want me to look at.
Receiver, excuse me, is Josh Reynolds there?
Oh, love Josh Reynolds. Yep.
Okay.
I'll pull the queue up. Tell me if there's anybody else. Is Corey Davis
I would
there?
Just throw,
I know you like Corey Davis. You got me on Corey Davis, and I think he's a great late round pick, but I believe he's already gone.
No, I think he's still there.
Is he? Yeah, I don't see his name.
Scroll up.
Oh, yep. There we go. My bad. Okay, any other ones you want me to queue up? I queued up Davis and Josh Reynolds, which I think are 2 very good spike week ones. So obviously, we talked about Jameson Williams being out. We think both are very high on Reynolds to potentially play that number 2 role the first 6 weeks and then still have a role. So
yeah. And just mentioning Corey Davis, I know there's still some talk that the Jets want him to reduce his contract, similar to what Mixon did for the Bengals. But also the report came out today that Mims is going to be traded or cut. So, that just further makes his path clear that they want him. Corey
Wait,
Davis
who's going to be traded or cut?
Mims.
Oh, wait, what's his first name?
Not that.
I know. I'm thinking of Marvin Mims from the. Yeah. Okay. I know that. Yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot about him. Yes. Okay.
So what's interesting is Mims is like the one other receiver on that roster who could have filled the Davis role on the team.
Interesting. Okay. Well, sharp people in there took Josh Reynolds. So he is gone, but Davis is there. You want to grab him? I like last pick of the draft. I love it.
Yeah. Let's go Corey Davis.
Love it. All right. Well, that was about the fastest draft I've ever seen. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, it was definitely a very active group. I think everyone was obviously live doing it. Nobody was waiting the clock out or anything like that. So
right. Okay, so here's our team. I'll read it one more time. 2 quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford. Oh, it went back to this. I should have kept it the other way because it didn't keep it in order. Um, but anyways, we have 6 running backs in no particular order. Ty Chandler, Keontae Ingram, James Conner, AJ Dillon, Brian Robinson, Joe Mixon. Obviously, Joe Mixon, James Conner, AJ Dillon, Brian Robinson are kind of like our top 4 guys. I believe we have 9 receivers: Odell Beckham, Tim Patrick, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Van Jefferson, Corey Davis, Justin Jefferson, Jaden Reed, Gabe Davis, and then the 3 rookie tight end special, Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, Luke Musgrave. Obviously, we correlated both Josh Allen with Kincaid and Gabe Davis, and we correlated Van Jefferson with Matthew Stafford. We handcuffed James Conner. We got a couple of Packers. Just got access to good teams, I think. Obviously Vikings, Buffalo, Denver, Baltimore, Minnesota, or I already said that. Jets, Detroit. I think we got access to a lot of teams. So overall, I'm happy with it. I think it generally speaking, I'm happy with like the positional allocation, the kind of the stacking correlation, and just getting those guys that could outperform their ADP. What's your kind of final thoughts for this team?
Yeah, no, I think first and foremost, I think we targeted 2 things correctly. One, we didn't really take guys at value. Kincaid would be the one exception, but honestly, like he's.
I have him higher though. Yeah, I have him higher.
He's going too low in this format. I mean, he's going higher in underdog, and his probably best value is being a PPR guy. If he's taking that slot role, he's got 100 catches. So that's what Beasley did. So
right.
But just in general, targeted a lot of high tier offenses, also offenses on the rise, but also guys with very defined roles. And this is one thing. Sure, you might be right if you guess on somebody's role and they're much better than what everyone else is saying. But I got a lot of projectable volume, both at running back, receiver, and tight end.
Right.
And that's really what you should be doing, especially on this site where every week matters the same. It's not about creating the just the ultimate week 17 or playoff run. I want guys with volume, and I think we're balanced where some of these situations like some of the receivers, like it's very deep. I mean, obviously super strong at top with Jefferson and Ridley, but Van Jefferson, if he's wide receiver 2 and Matt Stafford, who we took, is anything like the Matt Stafford 2 years ago, that's going to be a massive steal on both of those counts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Rams, yes, you pay for Cup, but I think Rams, everybody else, Stafford, Akers, Higbee, Van Jefferson could end up being potentially massive steals. They could be in a lot of shootouts. And yeah, I'm just very, very, as the draft season's progressed, I've gotten more and more, and I believe you have too, have gotten more and more bullish on the Rams. And I think here more than anywhere, like them a lot, just because, again, if you're getting a team stack that could outperform their ADP, that's massive.
Yeah. I just think you could get just a lot of value there. And then like these guys like Deontay Johnson, I mean, this is the format for him. Hopefully he gets the touchdowns that he just didn't get a year ago to go on top, but he had like 150 targets last year and the catches were a little down, but that was with Trubisky, a rookie quarterback, all that stuff. This offense could be really, really jumping up rankings, and just those types of targets are just so valuable.
Second year for Pickett. Offensive line has been boosted in the offseason. They made a lot of upgrades. That's key, I think, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any final thoughts? I know you're generally happy, but so you think just getting that, again, that projectable volume and targeting teams that we are high on to be top offenses or outperform their ADP was kind of the key to having a draft that you're happy with.
Yeah, no, I really think so. And one thing, because at the top I mentioned, the you want backs with complete roles, and while people will say Brian Robinson and AJ Dillon aren't as good in this format, they're not going to catch as many balls, and that's true to a degree. but those backfields are just 2-man guys. It's
Right.
not going to be 3-4 guys like some other situations. So they can still have pretty good numbers. I mean, AJ Dillon was very productive last year with Aaron Jones, and we could see Dillon kind of take over as the number one backer on the Packers this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I think that covers it. That was a very fast drafters draft for 20 rounds. That was fun. Again, if you are new to drafters, you saw how fun it is. Again, it's season long. You don't need to worry about that whole playoff format, advancing to playoffs or advancing through playoffs or week 17 correlation. You just need the best team weeks 1 through 17. And they have a $20 buy-in tournament that's probably going to have overlay with $300,000 up top and nice payout structure. So it's a tournament that we are both interested in. And I think, if you are new to drafters, it's definitely worth giving a shot this summer. Use code FANSPEAK, get yourself that 100% deposit bonus. Make sure you go over to fanspeak.com, check out our articles. We'll be doing strategy articles each and every week. We'll be doing live drafts each and every week here on the Fanspeak Network. So for Steve, I'm Meg. Thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you next time.